Good morning, afternoon, evening, and good night, everybody. This is the Unpaid and Underrated podcast, the Crew Cast, the podcast about lifting, about nerfing. As always, I am Big Joey. Not as always, but for the most part, I am Big Joey. And I am, of course, joined by
Big Keith.
Big Keith out of Ohio.
Yeah. That's close. That's Big Kevin. He's probably about 100 pounds smaller than me.
Sure.
A little taller, got a better beard.
You sure? Because based on last week, you might be the same people.
I did hear that Nate had a hell of a time doing the editing, and I think Big Jen said we literally had the exact same dialect, which I think I actually read her. I can't remember if I read it during listening to it or not, but I did. I basically, once I had that thought in my head and continued to listen to the podcast, I was like, oh wow, it is like obviously as the person whose voice it is, it's like you could clearly tell the difference. But from an outsider, I could be like, oh yeah, I could see someone being like, wow, that is very similar.
We got to make sure that Eddie doesn't know this.
Who's
because
this?
If he gets wind of this, he's going to use it as fuel for the fact that he thinks that Ohio's not in the Midwest.
Who's talking?
Who's that?
Oh, don't worry about me. I'm not here. I'm just here to watch.
Just here to watch. We shouldn't have let him unmute. Never let him unmute earlier.
No.
All right. Well,
we got to keep him in the waiting room for another 40 minutes,
and then really dive in.
Yeah.
Really dive into the podcast this week.
Both feet.
But we are joined by a third crew host this week. We have Big Spork.
Spoon, close enough.
Okay, gotcha.
Now, were you named after the Soundgarden song?
So yeah, actually, that is where the nickname came from. It was some coworkers decided that Spawnholtz was really, really close to, or at least the first half of it. They immediately started mispronouncing a spoon when I met them, and so then it was Spoon Man, and of course the Soundgarden song of the same name. So,
because there's nothing funnier than heroin addiction.
Wow.
All right, we're diving in quick here. All right.
I don't care. I'm having a night of it. I don't even.
Oh, you're good.
It's a good car. All right, Keith. We got a lot of stuff going today.
We do. We got
Keith and Rich. Now, can I call you Rich?
Yeah.
Rich get richer.
That's my favorite discount code.
I use that every week every time you order from Massonomics.
Yeah,
it does not work on
penny.
Does not work on your Massonomics Discord membership though.
No, it does not, unfortunately.
Which is what we're going to call it. I know it's supposed to be like a supporting membership, whereas in like we're supporting the podcast we love so they can keep making content. But like ultimately, we're paying to be in the Discord.
Absolutely,
those guys be danged.
It's like Costco. You're paying to be in the club.
I'm paying for those samples.
Exactly.
Right.
Imagine all the kitchen chicken bakes. Holy shit. Those things are great.
Oh, diving into the swearing right away. Jen's going to hate us, man. Like she's also going to turn us right off.
I forgot Jen hates that. Sorry, Jen.
She just hates because we're younger than her. That's all. Well, you guys are. I don't know.
95% of it's my fault.
You and I are like almost the same age. Jen, I think Jen's in her early 40s probably. So
Jen's like a year older than us. Look at how she lives. She's lying. She's younger than she says she is. All right, let's jump right in. Let's jump right in.
We'll just take a big old dump right in. So do a little follow up from last week. We had I believe we all mentioned that we didn't believe we had any Australian listeners, and then I think Big Nate got to the bottom of that in the Discord, and we found a Big Jaunty is one of our listeners from down under. So
are you telling me that the unpaid and underrated podcast was not well researched beforehand? I find that so hard to believe, guys.
So that's on me. I was supposed to do all the demographic research where I was supposed to find our marketing versus our demographic, and I did a lot of contextual and research to make sure that like everything that we did, and oh my God, the SEO to get into this was so important because ultimately we're here to get rich. And if you're not rich by the time you're 40, then it's because your podcast has failed. Anyway, no, the joke is no, we grip it and rip it, and we just started recording this and hope people listen.
We're coming up on, we're just under a month since like the 4th will be, I think. So when this episode comes out, I think it'll come out the 4th. It'll be like a 1 month anniversary essentially of when we recorded our first episode. So the fact that we've like already made a month worth of podcasting, that's pretty sick to me. I'm very happy to see where this goes.
When
search engine optimization, I did not know what SEO meant.
Hell yeah, right. I was using terms. That's what I was doing.
That was full on industry jargon. Way to go.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I have a degree in that kind of stuff, so I kind of like.
Okay, right on.
Yeah, I just didn't like the idea of having to do furthering school to prove I went to school. So yeah, anyway,
makes sense.
Anyway, I still don't understand SEO, and I never ever will. But yeah, so Big Jonty, hey, thank you for repping us to like 127, was it? Fitness podcast in Australia. And I've seen the people that come out of Australia, they're all fit and attractive. So the fact that like we are anywhere on that list is pretty amazing, because either they're not listening to podcasts. Good day, nor
I'm gonna go to
Jonty. Please, Jonty, don't kill us.
We're gonna go to Outback this weekend to celebrate.
Put another shrimp on the barbie, mate.
No, that's Austrian.
What?
It's from Dumb and Dumber. That's from Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah,
you guys.
That
I got you.
I'm trying to make.
It's been
Jim
a long
Carrey
week,
jokes.
man.
It's
been a long week.
I'm gonna start doing a Jim Carrey reference every podcast just to see who doesn't get it. I'm so in for that now. Not committed to it.
I don't think I've seen a new.
You got to get your Arnold going. Get to the chopper, no.
Has he done new comedies in a while? Like I haven't seen. Like I don't know what he does recently.
He like started doing a lot of drugs and then like found
the good
spiritualism
kind
or something.
Yeah. Like, he's all up here now.
Like oh my god.
He's all LSD up, psilocybin up here now. Yeah. Hell of a dude. You listen to his stuff. He we won't get into it because it's too serious goose talk. But after he made Kick-Ass 2, he decided after a school shooting he was no longer going to feature any guns in any of his movies. So he refused to do marketing for Kick-Ass 2. And that was a little bit of pushback. And I don't think he's done a lot of stuff since, except for a really, really funny, and I'm sorry to my gun loving friends, I'm there too, but his Funny or Die video, Cold Dead Hands, is kind of hilarious. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it. But if you are really pro-gun and don't want to hear that shit, don't go watch it.
I had time to watch it during the recording, right?
just the screen
time
share.
out. I'll go. Yeah.
You just mute yourself and you watch that, and I will listen to Big Joey give us a recap on his meet last week, because I'm very excited to let him talk about that. I saw you had hit some nice. Technically you hit meet PRs across the board, so.
And a personal PR. So that was
there you go.
Meet and personal PRs.
Nice.
That's part of first meets. You always hit meet PRs.
Well, yeah, it was my second meet, but it was my first sanctioned.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'd never been a sanctioned meet before, and I had my friend Steve. You guys all know him, Big Steve. I talk about him a lot on the podcast, and I brought him down as my handler. And I said, like, look, man, I can do most of this myself, but putting in my next lift within 60 seconds is really hard, because I have to run to my bag, get my app out, see what I did, judge how it felt. I was like, but honestly, man, I need you to just do it for me. And that's really all you're here for. He did a lot of help in other ways, actually. So got my first bench, got my second bench, failed my third bench, which was 185 pounds, which is 5 pounds over my gym max. But like I told you guys, I was not there to do 95% shit. I was there to do 105% shit. But they asked me to do a fourth bench because the spotters actually touched the bench before I went down. And at first I agreed, and I said, you know what, that's fine. I think I'll do it. And then I started thinking, like, I think I was going to fail that anyway, and I'd rather save my energy for my deadlifts. Now the
smart call.
Yeah, you're one hell of a deadlifter, so that makes sense.
Thank you. And that's what I was going to say. That's my bread and butter. I know where my strengths are.
Mm-hmm.
So as I was coming out for my second bench, they announced it was a record. And then I was like, sure. Okay. Now the thing is, it is, but because I didn't declare it, they're not going to count it. So during the break between bench and deadlift, I went to the head ref and I was like, what is this record business? Like, I'm kind of new here. I've never really done a sanctioned meet. And he's like, well, we thought it was a record because it is, because there isn't one in your age and weight class. And I was like, wait, so I'm going to hold the top in my age and weight class, but I'm not going to get recognized as a record. He's like, yeah, essentially. And I was like, how do you know? And he says, go to Open Powerlifting and look. So it turns out that there were no deadlifting for my age weight class and tested. So technically every lift I did set the record. Now, I don't think I did anything like overwhelming. Like, I'm a mediocre powerlifter at best. So my introduction was like 413 or something, like whatever. I do that in like warm-ups. So, but record set. And then the next one, I'm going to break my own record. And then my third attempt, I broke my own record, which was a near PR, which was 463 pounds. And then they said, well, because you hold the record, you are allowed to do a fourth attempt to break the record. And that's a WRPF rule, that if you think you can break the current record, you're allowed to do a fourth attempt. But I held the record. So I was like, no, I don't know. And Steve looked at the handler and went, just gave them a weight. He was like, he's doing it. And he put in a weight. And then I walked away and I was like, I don't know, man. Like, that was kind of hard. He's like, it wasn't hard enough. I was like, okay, how much weight did you put in? He goes, don't worry about it. So I was like, okay, man. So I did a shot of Fireball with Lou and then just walked out and gripped it and ripped it. And that was 468 and a half pounds. My current raw max was 445 with straps.
Little higher.
Yeah. With straps was 465, but this was deadlift bar, just me, some chalk and a belt. And I did 468 and a half pounds and set the Canadian record for tested submasters men under 181 pounds. So I am now the guy
legit.
To beat, hopefully. So we're still, there was a little bit of shaky knees. The head ref red lit me and the other two refs didn't catch it, but the head ref was like, it counts, I'm putting it in. It's still not up on Open Powerlifting, but I don't know how long that normally takes. Again, I have no clue what's happening.
Open powerlifting is anywhere from a few days to a few weeks, and
my name's not in there at all. So
if the meet director like isn't really up with the times too, like I had to go back and email Open Powerlifting like a few years ago, just the results from like old meets that I did that were like super bush league that the guy like didn't even know Open Powerlifting was, just so I could like everyone knows how OCD I am. Like I didn't want to go to my Open Powerlifting and only have it the last couple meets. I wanted like my entire history. So I like tediously spent like 2 or 3 hours going through like 4 or 5 meets that I had done and emailing links and stuff. And it was pretty rough, but if it's a WRPF meet, it's pretty legit. So I would assume it'd be up there in the next couple weeks.
Oh yeah.
Like OPL is a standard thing that a lot of powerlifters look at for records and for data anyway. But at the end of the day, it's a third party project, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not owned by
it's an open source,
right? It's open source. It's not owned by any federation, so it's all best effort, right?
Yeah. So maybe I'll end up there soon, hopefully, but I am fairly certain now I am the guy to beat in my age and weight class. Now that was my first sanctioned meet. I don't know if it's my last. I do think I've been saying it for weeks. There's strongman in my future. I was filling up my 100-pound bag today with some rocks.
I saw that. Is that like as a guy that's never really dicked around with sandbags? Is it normal to put like pea stone in a sandbag and not sand? Like, is that going to prematurely rip through it?
No, I don't think it is normal. I don't think it is normal, but we got a Canadian company up here called Grain Strength. She's out of the Midwest in Canada, and she swears by it. Pea gravel's the way to go, especially if you've got an indoor home gym. There's no sand. As long as you clean it and dry it properly, there's no mold. And it just feels more natural than a sandbag. So I'm going to fill it to 100 pounds. I'm going to stack it up with some rubber mulch to make it more round, kind of like Atlas stone style. Mm-hmm. So then I'll have 100 pound and 150 pound. And then we're going to start throwing those around. And I'm going to start throwing my Denny rings probably a little more often. Now the problem is Juggernaut isn't really set up for strongman. Juggernaut is set up for powerlifting. So I need to either decide if I'm going to pay a strongman coach or if I'm going to just adapt Juggernaut, where they say comp lift, I do Denny lift. When they say bench, I do sandbag bench. Like, I might just do that too, because you can't argue with the price of Juggernaut and the efficacy. Yeah.
Efficacy, yeah.
Yeah.
Overhead press, do,
Yeah.
axle.
I'm currently wondering if I need a deadlift bar, because
Yes.
like
Probably.
everybody's
I
like,
mean,
Everybody needs a
I think you
deadlift
should
bar.
have one anyway, especially if you're a
but
deadlifter.
everybody
Like,
says if you're not doing over 500 pounds, you don't notice. I'm like, F you, I noticed.
that's
Like, I
not
noticed
true.
at 460 pounds. I noticed the whip. I noticed the slack. Like, it was obvious.
You notice the diameter of the bar too. It's
Yeah,
thinner.
for
You're
sure.
able to get a better wrap around it. Even if you don't get the whip and the bend, you notice.
I noticed, well, it was a Kabuki bar too, right? So just like,
Right.
that was my second time using a Kabuki bar to meet, and I use a stiff bar for my
Mhm.
home gym. And like, I noticed, and it felt so much easier and better that went up
Well,
fantastic.
Keith,
So-
you have a Kabuki bar too. Those
I do.
those bend on like 135 pounds. Like they bend on nothing.
For sure, and like you mentioned, the diameter. Someone who like I hook grip deadlift. So hook grip in a power bar versus a 29 millimeter power bar versus a 27 millimeter deadlift bar. That's night and day
Huge
difference
difference.
alone just for hook gripping. So yeah, the people on Facebook that want to show you how big their dick are by telling you that you shouldn't have a deadlift bar unless you pull 500. Like, they can fuck off. Those guys. Oh, that gets under my skin.
And you're going to pull in a
People say
deadlift bar in some federations anyway. So
Mhm.
if you're going to do WRPF, which sounds like they use Kabuki bars up by you, then owning a Kabuki bar makes sense. Or just having a deadlift bar in general. So like there's a little bit to that for just practicing how you're going to perform. It's the same reason that I got kilo plates recently. I know that I'm going to be using them on the platform, so it's a good reason to have them.
Now, did you win those kilo plates anywhere, like in a garage gym competition? I don't think you did.
No.
But there were several crew this week that won many a prize on the garage gym competition contest giveaway that went out this week. I was one of them. Big Jen was one of them. Scott Dodds was one. I know there was a fourth, but I'm drawing a blank on who that was. If anyone knows who it is, great. But yeah, I just wanted to touch base on that little follow up to last week that most of us competed in the garage gym competition. And a handful of crew actually won something, so that was pretty
Well, and
sick.
we're recording a day early because the big prizes are actually going to be announced tomorrow, and I plan on winning one of those.
Yeah, you're gonna get
whatever Prime's putting up, or
they got a big stack, I think, or stuff. So
it's a single
anything
stack.
Prime is.
Yeah.
I think the cheapest thing on Prime's website is like $3,000. So
Right, totally. Yeah, there's a pair of Chewy bars that are from American Barbell.
Yeah, I would
those
love
are
one of
sweet.
those.
I don't know that I need another power bar, but those look really sick, and I wouldn't mind having one. So, as a side joke, I usually don't win anything in these things. So
Yeah, I can't imagine that Joe would let you win at this rate if you're Mr. Band Ambassador. Yeah.
Ambassador, yeah. My misspelled plaque.
This is my third year in the GGC, and I still haven't won anything. And I'm like, come on, I almost injured myself before my real meet doing this, and it's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. I'll just go to hell and never involve myself in anything again. Let's talk about our sponsors.
Yeah.
There's not much to talk about because, of course, we are all part of the Massnomics crew. If you want to go and join the Discord crew, of course, you go to massnomics.com/join. There's no new drop to chat about. There's two things I think we should really focus on. The first and foremost, what are you wearing?
I'm wearing the Bench Heavy t-shirt.
I don't think I have the T-shirt of that. I've got the tank. I've got I think this is the Metalnomics shirt, right? Metalnomics, and in the troll cut version. Shout
I am
out
wearing
to our good friend at Lift Evil for teaching me how to make these. They're fantastic.
I am wearing, of course, the most controversial of t-shirts, the dark side t-shirt.
That would have been a good one. That could have almost been a segment.
Shit, mine's clean. I should have worn mine. Damn
Yes.
it.
I don't want.
Oh.
I notoriously controversial shirt after some YouTube comments. I know that's some political talk. I won't get into it, but the internet's a nightmare this month.
YouTube's the worst. Like I don't know, out of all those social media platforms, TikTok and YouTube, I think tie for being the most like just horribly cruel people. Like just the shit that people would like think they can get away with saying without ramifications. It's just I don't know. YouTube.
Yeah, they're all the same. I'm on Twitter too, and
Mm-hmm.
even my friends that think that they could just say stuff that I won't call them out on, right? Where they're just rude to me, and I'm just like, yeah, sure. Is that what you think is real life? But
Social media and the
anyway,
internet gives you that distance that like you don't really think of the fact that you're sitting at a computer talking to a person. You're
yeah,
just sitting at a computer. You're just spouting off whatever the hell comes to your mind.
social media is full of a lot of people that haven't been clipped in the mouth for saying something,
And it shows.
and then they. I mean, like it's one of those things where I sometimes wonder, like, do you think that it's not going to hurt? And that's kind of what is the weird sentence to me. So, like, if I'm out in the world and
Mhm.
let's say I'm doing something that somebody doesn't like, do they think because they believe they're morally right and they pull out their phone to record me, that it's not going to hurt when I hit them? Like, is that what they think? Like, do they think that, like, well, I have right on my side, I can charge you with assault, I'm still going to hurt you? Like, not me in particular. I just mean in general.
Mhm.
Like, getting clipped in the face from a person who's really strong
Yeah.
hurts. Whether you're recording, whether you think you're right. And that's just like, I just wonder about that. Like, do you think just like because you believe that morally you're right, that it's not going to hurt? Like, do you think if you stand in front of my car because you want my parking space, that it's not going to hurt when I run you over? Like, is that what you think? So anyway, the internet was.
I thought you had meant like when you say something really fucked up and mean and cruel that like you're not going to hurt that person's feelings when they read it. And I was like, oh, okay, you completely flipped the script and was like, oh, when I punch you in your face. And I was like, there was like 30 seconds in, and I'm like, oh, he's talking about physically hurting someone. Okay, I got
But
you.
not me in particular. Like,
Well, yeah.
I am not a violent person.
There are so many hotheads out there that would lay people out if they were,
like that guy that yelled at Tanner. Do you think that just because you are like an old man who like happens to like own this property, that if Tanner just wasn't the type of guy he is, that he's not going to pop you in the mouth and it's not going to hurt? Like, you might be able to sue later. You might be able to whatever, call the police. It still hurts.
Recognize you were a jackass.
It just still hurts to get punched in the face, and people need to understand that.
Right.
And I don't think people understand that, is that they think the aftermath is more important. It still hurts to get punched in the face. Anyway, this is
no playground fights anymore, and it shows.
No, this is a very serious podcast for us.
So if you were to get punched in the face, you would probably want to, cool down your mouth a little bit with a nice cold beverage. So my cold beverage tonight of choice, again, is a Wegmans Orange Mandarin sparkling water, because that's all we got.
Excellent segue.
What about you, Mr. Spoon? What are you drinking, Spoon?
Oh man, you know me. I am a party animal, living it up on a Thursday night with my big old jug of water. So,
nice
water.
I am drinking Keith's because I have been working all week and I am exhausted and I want to have a beer or 5. I am pretty determined to not be useful in the morning.
Yeah, I still got to put a full day's of work in tomorrow, so
I
have to be selective on which Thursdays I'm going to drink, because there's a lot of Fridays I only got to work half days, just because my company will kick me out at 40 hours if there's not a project going on, basically, and I'm over. A lot of times that's at 10, 11, 12 in the morning. Tomorrow's not one of those days. I got a 10-hour day in the heat tomorrow, so I'm going to just not partake in any alcohol this evening.
Stay hydrated. Go ahead.
Is it heat in New York?
Dude, I was gonna actually see if we want to talk about that, because we do like talking about weather on podcasts in regional areas that mean nothing to other people listening. But it was like 91, 92 degrees today.
Oh damn! All right,
fair. It's hard. I can't really tell if it was humid or not, because I was doing electrical work in like a common area hallway of an apartment complex all day. So not only was it 90 outside, it was over 100 in the hallway, and I'm just in my uniform. So it was very hot. I was drenched in sweat all day long.
It was actually that hot here as well, as I was trying to clean my rocks and fill up my bags out there, just sweating. Yesterday, I even had a cigar while I was doing it. And that was the worst idea I think I've had in months. Just a big cigar hanging out of my mouth. I'm dripping sweat and saliva trying to like wash rocks. Interestingly, I wanted to make a video about it because, you know, I found the perfect way to wash them and everything like that. But the more I just sat in that heat, sunburning, because of course I have the skin of a fluke worm, which is just completely transparent and burns within minutes. So
very similar complexion to a vampire. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Morgan's like, if you look at your phone too long, you're going to burn. Like, you need to put on sunscreen. All right. What do we got next up, folks?
We got one more topic before we can go into a new bit. So this is something I think they mentioned on the other podcast, but I think it was either inspired just by Canadians in general or maybe us. I can't remember, but Z versus Z, is that a thing? Have I missed that when you and Scans are talking? Like, is that something that someone shed some light on the Z is a Z when pronouncing the letter Z? I don't get it.
Zed's a villain on Power Rangers.
Zed's
Lord
dead,
Zed.
man. That's all I know. Oh yeah, I remember that.
So it was much to my delight, we have once again influenced the main podcast.
Nice.
Because one of the hosts said that they heard me spelling my last name. And I think you must have missed it, but I do it every week. Mleczko. And yes, in Canada, and unfortunately for you guys, literally the rest of the world, in English, it is Zed.
We can't help it that the rest of you are wrong.
That's so weird.
Do you guys know why you guys do things so differently?
We're special.
Because we beat the British?
Because of capitalism. So it is because when the printing press was invented, you paid by the letter.
Mm-hmm.
So it was more economically feasible to simply remove letters you deemed unnecessary, and that changed your entire language.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the rest of the world. Go ahead.
Are there any other letters that have like this extra phonetic,
letters no,
to it?
Letters no, words yes.
Okay.
That's why we have you in like favorite and color and things like that, where we extend the phonetic of that vowel part. But Americans removed it because I ain't paying for that. Mm-hmm. So essentially,
makes sense. I mean, it's very.
It does.
Answer better.
And that's like what we like that. I'm not saying that's a negative thing. I'm saying that's there's a word for it where it's like it makes
cost
sense.
Efficiency.
Cost efficiency. Your adaptation to the world around you, things like that. Because you're not gonna spread literacy and go bankrupt. Like, I've got a job here to do. So
at the risk of getting political, if you look at the current events in the United States, spreading literacy is not exactly something that people are concerned with.
How dare you?
I mean, one of the hosts is doing his best to spread it all over Aberdeen.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
He's going to start a little library pretty soon. I can tell.
Aberdeen Book Club.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure his wife already runs that, doesn't she? I think she's like part of a book club out there.
And then they'll beat Massonomics for best podcast in Aberdeen.
Oh yeah, in the Aberdeen magazine. Yeah.
They get snubbed in the magazine for a second time.
I want to see what the next billboard's going to be. It's been a while since I've had one of those.
I wonder if it's going to be a billboard, because we did crack the 500 mark, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what the next thing is going to be, like the next clip that they're sending out. Yeah,
that's one thing we could talk about. I'm trying to think. I swear I saw a hint in the Discord today, but I think I'm thinking of something else. Oh, he was hinting about having the World's Strongest Man on. I think Mitchell Hooper, because there was some controversy about a shirt he has, and he was like, "Hey, is this such and such?" He's like, "Well, we should be able to find out shortly," or something to that extent. But I could have swore I saw something. There's so much stuff that happens on Discord that it's so hard to keep track of it. But I swear I saw something that was a hint at what the giveaway was going to be. But I might be misremembering it. But I'm very curious. The way they said it last night, they were like, because we were able to listen live last night, so that's another big benefit to being a supporting member is you get access to all the behind the scenes stuff on Discord. So, and that's kind of one of my favorite things about being a sport member, being listening live, and then we're able to have that banter back and forth with them during the live recording. I think one of the hosts mentioned my name like 3 times, so like as like not important as that is in like the grand scheme of the world, like that really made my night, to know that like, I said something witty enough to come across their eyes to like interject into the conversation, or to answer a question. So like that is one of my favorite things on Wednesday night to do, is to be able to, partake in that. So if that's something that sounds good to you guys, if you're somehow listening to this podcast and are not a sporting member, be sure to sign up.
Now, speaking of
corporations that are like, you're part of the family, we're the unpaid interns, but we're people too, dang it.
Well, we are the family. Like we have our own podcast for us, right? Like
for sure.
There's not a lot of corporations out there where you could be like, well, I'm going to start a business on the inside on your time. Because like Mathnomics was like, you guys go do that. Like I'm sick of you talking about it. So
it sounds like a prison market. Like what? How many menthols for a Big Mac? Like,
speaking of episodes, I had a message recently from one of the not novelty accounts, but like one of the fun accounts on the side, right? Which was Recentonomics, and they asked me. They said, what if you guys had a segment where you rated this week's episode out of JD Power's awards? And like, I think I'm in. I think I want to do that. So I want to ask you, Keith, first, this week's episode with that fella from Barbend, who is apparently now working for your favorite company in the world, Pillar 4. How do you rate this week's episode? 1, 0, actually.
Yeah, I was going to say
5 JD Power Associates.
Can there be a negative involved? I mean, I have to. So I'm going to use my druthers on this one. Touching base on a couple things. I always enjoy the episode in general. This week's guest was someone that I don't have a lot of familiarity with, other than his relationship with now Pillar Ford. I didn't have high expectations going in. I wasn't really sure. I just didn't want to. I'm not a big fan of Pillar 4. I don't like big corporation essentially, and they're like buying up all these smaller companies and kind of making just the whole world more corporate. And I'm not a fan of that in general. In his defense, he was fully transparent about it and has been from the very beginning, where some of the other people in Pillar Ford's catalog are completely deceptive and will lie through their teeth and hide every aspect of it if they can. So the fact that he had the balls to be completely transparent, and just the fact that it's Mathnomics in general. So -5 out of 5. I'm gonna rate it at a 5 JD Powers.
Rich, what do you got this week?
So unfortunately, I haven't been able to listen to the episode. I've been a little busy riding 2 horses with one ass, but I have no doubt that it'll be another spectacular 5 out of 5 JD Powers.
All right. So I did listen to it. As a former whiskey connoisseur myself, I did find some very interesting opinions about whiskey. I did appreciate how transparent and excited he was to work for Pillar 4, because at least, we felt that it was genuine. I did also appreciate being mentioned for my powerlifting meet and for overrated, underrated. But I mean, there's ultimately up and downs to every podcast. So I think if I really had my druthers and had to go with it, I think I would give this one 5 JD Power Associates.
Solid score.
We'll mark that in a record. I think we'll have that on the record for Recentonomics or Repeatonomics.
We'll have Big Kevin start a spreadsheet for it, because I've got enough spreadsheets going for this podcast. So if Big Kevin from last week can help us out,
what's a spreadsheet?
Yeah.
I hear that Kevin really excels at those.
Ooh, yeah, nice fun.
That was very good. So should we get our guest on the horn? I think it's been a good half an hour, 30, 40 minutes.
Basically, he's been waiting in the in the lobby there. We've had him on mute this whole time. So yeah,
I've been bored of shit. So
all right. Well, I guess we unmuted him pretty quickly. Hey, Big Rich, is that you?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
You are live on the Unpaid and Underrated podcast.
Can I swear on this thing, or
absolutely?
Yes, but somebody will be upset about it.
Yeah,
Okay.
there will be ramifications, but
Yes,
you
you
get
can
away
do
with
whatever you want, but you will be seen as the type of person that does that thing.
Yeah.
Now, I have to make sure first
Consequences
and
of my own actions.
foremost, is this Rich or is this Michael?
I mean, we look so similar. It's easy to not be able to tell the difference.
I love that reaction. I was waiting for that. Tell me about that.
So I do have a twin brother that looks absolutely nothing like me. We for the longest time I had blonde hair, he had dark hair. We both had blue eyes. That was about where everything ended. I've always been on the larger side in terms of body mass. He was always much smaller, spent most of his adolescent years under 100 pounds. He is 5'3" in his boots. I'm 5'9". Very, very disparate people, very different personalities. We even live on opposite coasts. He's over in California, stationed at 29 Palms in the Marine Corps, and I'm over here in North Carolina.
Now, was that his Batman costume that you wore for so many years as a kid? Or was that your own Batman costume that you refused to take off for a very long time as a kid?
Definitely mine, to the point of introducing myself to a preschool teacher as Batman. God, Steen gave you guys so much. Oh shit, I'm in trouble.
What made you think this is all Steen? How do you know I didn't reach out to Michael? Like I have the whole world in front of me right now.
Because Michael doesn't respond to anything.
Maybe not to you.
Oh, okay, fair.
You did say you weren't very close, so I mean,
yeah.
Well, I mean,
like physically,
right?
Okay, gotcha.
Yes, yes, full on. Having your wife as part of the crew did make this a little easier for me, and I'm still getting the reactions I love when we hit people with just the most random facts about their life and childhood. Oh, right. There is one she did ask me to ask you.
Okay.
And I'm gonna have to pull a me on this one.
Okay. So who don't you know?
Kate Bobate.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Oh, okay. So you wouldn't know who that is. That's our dog. She's a 12-year-old Staffy mix, who is about as neurotic a dog as can exist. But she's also my first dog. I've never had a dog prior to this. My mom was allergic growing up, and when I was living alone, I never really had a need to have a dog. In my first marriage, we were always renting, so paying a pet deposit, having to worry about damage from pets and stuff was kind of a concern financially. So it didn't make sense for us to have pets at the time. So yeah, I'm 32 years old and have a dog for the first time. That has been a very interesting experience. She partially tore her CCL, which is the dog equivalent of an ACL in the knee. Almost going on 2 weeks ago. So she's been on kennel rest. And I think I can hear her barking through my headphones. She is feeling better now to the point where like she is itching to get out of this fucking kennel, and I can't blame her. But
you know the first thing a dog's gonna do is bound out of there.
Oh my god! And jump all over the couch that she hasn't been able to
re-injure themselves
for 2 weeks.
Yep,
but they're going to follow up with her vet on Monday. We're expecting good news. She's been in high spirits. She hasn't even been limping when we've like let her out to use the bathroom and stuff. So should be good news.
Right. I feel less bad about not knowing who that is.
Yeah, no, that is not a famous person. That is my dog.
Keith, you got a lot of questions in here that I didn't add. I'm gonna let you do a couple of these.
Yeah, I'll jump in right in. I think some of them are actually from Big Nate, but yeah. So here's one. It's a more of I'll just kind of roundabout get to it. So we were Big Spoon was on with us, month and a half ago when we did one of our initial roundtables to kind of produce this, and he mentioned that you were on another podcast back in the
Oh
you were
shit! Somebody actually remembered that.
so
Yeah.
yes, but
we all
so
remembered.
so
We all remembered.
it's in my notes as Magic the Gathering. Let me fix it. But
Yes.
when I so it's actually this is so I got a little funny story. Basically, like I thought you said it was just about magic in general, and I thought you were just a fucking magician that just like
I
did
wish,
magic on the
man.
side. And I was so confused when I got on the notes this week, and Nate had put Magic the Gathering, and I'm like, what? I could have like, am I wrong or is Nate wrong? Okay, so I'm definitely wrong, and you are not a magician. You played the card game.
No, although I wish I
Kind of
was a
thing?
magician. I do think that illusion, sleight of hand, all of that stuff's very cool. But unfortunately, I don't have that ছিল set.
That's
No,
hysterical.
this was peak nerd shit with people that don't know how to take showers.
Can confirm. I did not play MTG, but directly across from my high school was a comic book shop, and in the basement was a table, a lamp, and some chairs where we would go on our lunch break or on our free period and play Magic. But I didn't play, so I would just go. Can you guys hear that?
No.
My whole house just rumbled. I think a car drove by.
Oh shit.
A little jealous.
I thought that was part of your story of what you did when you watched these people play Magic. You just like stared at them awkwardly, and I was like, "Is this a bit?" I'm so confused.
Oh no, I would chirp. I would chirp and drink my Pepsi and just sit and watch Magic the Gathering. So I can confirm that they are some fucking nerds.
It was a good time. I don't regret it at all. It was a good period of my time. It was a great time waster. Met a lot of really good people that are still great friends. But I stopped having fun with the game, so I've been out of it for a couple of years now. But yeah, it was called DGen Cast. I think I don't know when they recorded last. It was always kind of a whenever we felt like we had something to talk about. We didn't do it weekly or anything like that. But my original co-host kept up with it. We replaced myself with another friend of ours as the second host, and they've been carrying the mantle since then.
So if you were to start another podcast now, if I base that off of the shit I see in your stories, I'm going to assume it'd be about this F1 racing thing instead of so on a follow up to that, more or less. So you live in like the deep South, essentially, like, and you're an F1 fan, but isn't NASCAR like the king down there? Like, how is that? Like, do people bust your balls for watching F1 and like not being a Dale Earnhardt fan or anything like that?
So I live in Charlotte, which is actually the home of NASCAR, not just NASCAR being big in the South. I live in the home of NASCAR. So yeah, there's a little bit of that from like neighbors and stuff, but I work for a large international company, and so a lot of my work colleagues are also Formula One fans, but also Haas or Haas, I'm never really clear on how to pronounce it. Automation, which sponsors the Stewart Haas NASCAR team, also has a Formula One team. So I pull for Mercedes, who just came off of a long period of time of being dominant. But I always have that kind of like hometown hope that Haas will do something awesome. They're still probably several years from being a serious contender, but I it's kind of one of those any given Sunday. They could be in the right place at the right time. And they're a smaller outfit than anyone else. They do it with less money than anyone else. Like it's very much this chip in a chair American dream thing that they're doing. So Formula One's fun. It's a lot of fun. That or cooking, probably, if I had to start a podcast to answer your actual question. But I don't know that there's really a big market for cooking podcasts, especially for
YouTube for sure. Podcast maybe not as much. It'd be a lot harder to translate, I think.
And not from IT professionals that live in the deep South. Like it's
So I have a question as a Canadian.
Okay.
What does Roll Tide mean?
Roll Tide, if I hear Roll Tide, means that you don't know your ABCs.
Okay.
It's no, it's. Do you have the real answer? Like, so it's about Alabama
Yes.
football, like the Alabama. It's a big college. They've had been a perennial powerhouse in college football, and their thing is basically Roll Tide. I don't know much more than that. What is their actual mascot?
Their mascot's an elephant. Like,
Yeah,
how do you get Roll Tide from an elephant?
But it's not
Okay.
like, but they're not like the Alabama Elephants. I think it's. I don't even know
No,
what
it's the Crimson Tide.
Yeah,
The
it's
name
the
of the team is the Crimson Tide.
Then that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Full disclosure, I thought it was a NASCAR thing, and I thought it was about the Tide car flipping. I'm going to be upfront with you about that. I thought it was about the Tide car flipping.
No, if you got that
could
from
clear
Steam,
that
that's because of my disdain for Alabama football.
I got it while you were talking about NASCAR and Formula One. I was like,
okay.
wait, maybe he can explain this phrase.
Yeah, no, that is
I see all the time.
That is a college football thing that unfortunately you see a lot of.
Hey, I'm in. People like what they like.
Was that one of the first times we've
Alabama
had a Canadian
specifically is the unfortunate thing. Football's fine. I'm down with football. It's Alabama specifically. And this is too deep of a subject to get into on this thing.
Okay, then
but I feel very strongly about the massive mismatch between Alabama University academics and Alabama University football, and that is a recurring mismatch in a lot of perennial powerhouses in the NCAA. So
I wrote.
Won't get into that.
Actually, on my way out of university in my final year, I wrote my bachelor's thesis on how that played even in my university. So that's a common thing in general. But anyway, fucking nerds.
I mean, I have no room to talk with what I do for a living.
Yeah, what do I do? I do nothing. I do customer service. So you were married recently? Who does that?
Me twice. So
not recently twice, because I feel like the government might need to know about that.
Recently once. Yeah. So
we only care about crew. We only care about crew weddings.
Yeah.
The last wedding. Yeah, sure.
Big Steen and I got married on April 1st, which was a bit of an inside joke turned legitimate anniversary. So when we were dating, that was our assumed anniversary because we didn't remember when we actually started dating. We just knew it was in April, and we decided that April 1st was a funny choice. And so April Fool's Day was our anniversary. And then we realized that we wanted to do the thing, get married, do life, all of that. And we realized that April 1st this year fell on a Saturday, and we're like, well, I mean, it's perfect. We can make it our actual anniversary. So yeah, we got married April 1st. And yeah, so far so good.
So congratulations. I understand you wore a Massonomic shirt to your wedding.
I did. I wore my Discord crew shirt, as a matter of fact. Underneath my actual shirt that I wore for getting married. But yeah, my undershirt was my Discord crew shirt.
So did I, actually, for my wedding, because we got married outside in January. So
you may or may not have been the inspiration for that.
Stop it. Yes, I wore the varsity long sleeve shirt under my winter jacket and other layers, but I did not
wear
hoodie.
No.
No,
it was a pun.
I was following where he was going.
Yeah, because I always get confused if he's talking about it. If the joke is only if he says jacket or coat and jacket or interchangeable. But I always, the whole.
Oh, you can't joke about that up in Canada in January. It was negative 14. The wind was so piercing that I built a 4-foot snow wall to try and minimize it. Then we lit a fire within the 4-foot snow wall. It was so cold that we did the vows and then ran inside to warm up. And then, so when you're like hoodie, I kind of got the joke, but I was like, no, it was very cold. Sorry about that.
I think you're a little further north in Ontario than Mississauga, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
No,
I used to
actually,
get.
I'm about west of Mississauga.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
We had a standing joke in my previous role on the team that I worked on that for whatever reason I always would get sent to Mississauga in December.
Mhm.
And it without fail, anytime that I had to go to Canada, it was in December.
And that's fine because like half of December is most Canadians going, I wish it would snow. It's almost Christmas. And then the last half of December is murder.
It was
Yeah.
late enough that that there was always
Yeah.
several feet of snow.
This year, the first 2 weeks, back to the weather on this podcast. Like, look at us taking after the main podcast.
Who'd have thought?
Who'd have thought? The first 2 weeks of December, leading up to about my birthday and then my wife's birthday, it was warm enough. Some of us were just in hoodies, in shorts, in just shoes, going like, it's going to be Christmas. I wish it would snow. And then it didn't stop snowing for like a week. And it just built up forever. And the snow and the ice. And yeah. So maybe that was a little PTSD there where I'm just like, no, you don't joke about that. It was the worst. We had actually scheduled the wedding as well during the lockdown that happened up here, with everything going on. So it was a very unpleasant time, but congratulations on your wedding to you and Steen. We all love Steen. Doesn't post very often, but when she does, we're in.
She's figuring out this whole Massonomics thing, and it was actually kind of a giddy moment for me when she was like, "So how do you join this thing?" And I was like, "Yes, a convert."
I did it. All right. Should we move into? Do you want to go into that yet, Keith? Do you want to go into overrated, underrated?
It wasn't one of my questions, but I do need to ask it just because
keep going.
His answer is going to dictate if I can be friends with him or not anymore. I think it's one of your wife's questions to Joey. Do you have I don't know if it's a preference thing or you don't think you need to do it at both times, but brushing teeth at night versus in the morning, is there a story there? Because if you only brush your teeth once a day, I'm not talking to you anymore.
No, so I'm much better about doing it at night than in the morning. At night is literally like clockwork, to the point that like she'll like lay down and then it'll be like kind of a chore to get up to go do it again. I'm like, no, come on, this is the thing. This is non-negotiable. And then in the morning she's like, hey, dumbass, don't forget to do this.
Gotcha. So it's just more that she's a morning person and you're a night person, basically when you're both more alert, maybe kind of thing.
Now she's more a likes to rest person. So if she's going to be up and moving about, she's going to get shit done. It's an inertia thing, if
Gotcha.
an object in motion stays in motion.
So I guess then, Keith, that you are very adamant about brushing your teeth because
I
barely brush my teeth at night, and I'll tell you why. It's because I push myself until I am so asleep that I'm either sleepwalking or passed out on the couch. That sometimes I just forget to. And sometimes I'll have a beer in my hand, I'll have a pop in my hand or something like that. But in the morning, it is the first thing I do. I wake up, I shut my alarm off, and I brush my teeth. And if anything gets in my way, it's like a fight. So that's really, it's funny that it's something, if I remember, I usually do it at night, but most of the time I just wake up on the couch at 3 a.m. and go, and stumble into bed.
Powerlifting actually made me a better sleeper, believe it or not. It incentivized me to go to bed at a reasonable hour and get good sleep. Yeah. Because without it, I am fucking useless.
Yeah.
I feel so bad. Everything's off and it's just like, man, like everything just feels lightly crappy if I don't get good sleep. So like it's one of those things I taught myself to do.
I think we can go into overrated, underrated in a minute, but I don't know if Joey forgot or if he doesn't have one, but I want a Joey silly question.
Now, should we do it later? I'll let you guys decide. Do you want to do that now or do you want to do that after overrated, underrated?
I don't know. Dealer's choice.
Well, let's do it now because then we'll go overrated or underrated, and then we'll let Spoon ask us a question. I think I like kind of ending on
that's a good flow.
The guest asking us. So,
that's a good flow. I'm going to tell you, I just changed this as I was walking into this room to record it. So I had one, and then I went running into the living room, to my wife and I said, I asked her this question and she looked at me like I was a psycho. Okay. So here's my question to you guys. Why do platypus need to glow in the dark?
Druthers, platypus. Is that a dinosaur or is that an active mammal today that I just can't picture?
Oh, this is a strange one. Wait, who are you? A platypus? Parry the platypus!
That's a marsupial.
That is a marsupial that looks like a beaver with a beaver tail, duck feet, poison tips, and a duck bill. But yeah.
Somehow a real animal. He is not bullshitting you.
Okay.
It lays eggs. It's a marsupial that lays eggs. But why does it need to glow in the dark?
I was not aware that they did, so I'm going to need.
I know.
More,
I think that's the hypothetical of his jokey.
It glows in the dark.
It does. Oh, it really does.
Under a UV light.
They're bioluminescent.
Bioluminescent.
Oh. Holy shit! That's awesome.
I thought this was like some random pull. Okay, so
nope.
Why?
I legit thought that you were pulling my leg. That's amazing. I love that.
Okay, but like, why? Like, they live in rivers. They don't live in the ocean, where bioluminescence is kind of like the big thing. So, like, why would they need that?
They're evolution's leftovers.
Hmm.
Like, they're like, yeah, we had a little extra bioluminescence. Just like sprinkle it on there, like Salt Bay style.
I think it's just because they need to help us on our quests. Like, ultimately, I kind of think that platypus are just here to help us on whatever life quest that we need, like Legend of Zelda, where you like eat a fish and you glow. Yeah, but like but like when you can't see at night, like the platypus are there to guide you.
I am down with this explanation of reality. I'm 100% in. Absolutely.
So Keith, why do platypus glow in the dark, man?
I would say did you say they lay eggs, so they must have a bunch of kids, so their kids can see their parents better at night.
I'm still hung up on the fact that Keith didn't know what a platypus
was. There's going to be so many memes about, like, this is a platypus, you dumbass. Like, I don't know what one is. But, like...
I'm going to start them when we get off here, and it's going to be like a zebra or something.
Wouldn't it make it them more prone to just get attacked and, like, murdered by other animals? Because, like...
Okay, so they're only bioluminescent, from what I understand, under UV light, which is kind of even more insane. Because UV light doesn't exist in the world. Nothing sees in UV light. But, like, I guess scientists just had UV lights and were like, okay, come on. Like, now you also glow? I think, Rich, are you looking it up?
Nope.
So it's not a beneficial glow to any
I am making a meme. Because I get to make the first one. And nobody's going to know what I'm talking about until this episode airs. Fantastic.
I think you might need to hold off on that just so we can power through, man.
But like,
I can talk.
All right.
So yeah, like that's it. Like they glow in the dark.
Strange.
I do like the idea that maybe their kids see. That's actually really smart.
Yeah,
that it's got a feature. It's got to have some feature because there's no bioluminescence that I'm aware of.
Do we know that no animals can see
evolutionarily
UV? I'm assuming.
I don't know that off the top of my head
because that would be or I'm curious. Like if so, that would be weird. Like so, they glow in the dark under certain parameters, but they can't see themselves or their spouse. Their other equivalent glow in the dark. Like that's
so. Can they see?
Yeah.
Because it would only make sense if they can. If they're predators, then they would.
Because then they could spot themselves. Like they could spot their cousin, down the block, in the woods, in the river. Like that would be an intriguing thing. But if it's just like,
it could be a mating thing too.
That's true. Because if they can see in UV, like maybe it is.
How they find each other.
Like Keith says, that's how they find each other. But like maybe the brightest of them, is the better mate or the least best mate.
Also, have scientists put every single animal in the existence under a UV light, or is this just the only one that they've tested that we know of?
Well, we're definitely not putting humans under UV light.
It's just a lab where they're just like holding them under a UV light and see what happens.
Nope, not you. They can't.
Well, this dog's boring.
Bring back the platypus.
That's good stuff.
Anyway, that's my silly joke of the week or silly question of the week.
That's a random
one. The answer. If you're out listening to this and you know the answer, because everything I read, which was not a lot, said that we don't know the answer. But yes, platypus glow in the dark, and no, nobody on this current podcast knows why.
They're also not dinosaurs.
They're also not dinosaurs.
Or
Sorry,
mammals.
Or mammal. Are you sure?
Yes.
Are you sure? Like, are they marsupials?
Yes.
That's insane. Because I thought the possum was the only marsupial in North America.
Now
We got the
gonna
Google
look it up.
machine go. We got the Google machine going.
I
they
am
lay
wrong.
eggs.
It's a mammal.
Yeah, they lay eggs, but
It's
they're a
an
mammal that
egg-laying
lays
mammal.
eggs. Okay, good.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, all right. So I'm not insane. Do possums glow in the dark? Like,
Do possums lay eggs? Oh.
no,
Possums do not glow in the dark, because if they did, they'd probably get hit by cars less.
that's true. Those poor things. All they want to do is eat ticks and protect us.
It's a lot of roadkill talk in the last couple of weeks.
You know why? Because I live in the country. I see a lot of roadkill. So we got this game we like to play. It's called Overrated, Underrated, and we play it with every guest every week. Essentially, we're going to give you a list of hand-picked topics for you, Big Rich Spoon Man. And I have 6 of them, possibly 7, if anything like last week happens and I suck at this.
Laces out, Dan.
Laces out, Dan.
We crashed and burned on like 3 of those.
Oh, I know. But okay, in my defense, the Instagram one, I got vindicated.
Oh yeah, I saw
Yeah.
someone posted, "Hey, is this
Big
what he's talking
mofo
about?"
guy was like, Kevin, this is the post Joey was talking about. And Kevin had posted about being Instagram censored and he forgot. So I brought it up during the podcast and he was like, I have no clue what you're talking about. But no, it did happen. I am only a crazy person most of the time.
It is Big Mofo Guy, but according to Tanner, one of the hosts, it is Moto Guy. So
Moto
that was
Guy.
That was kind of a gag, and then someone responded with the motorcycle emoji. that was classic. Look out for him to be on the podcast in the coming weeks.
Now it's coming up. We got a couple guests lined up, a little short list going. But let's focus on this guest, and we're going to play Overrated, Underrated. Now, keep in mind, you have your druthers.
Of course.
But ultimately, you have to pick a side.
Yep. Let's do it.
So, overrated or underrated, squatting to depth.
Fuck you, Keith.
That one wasn't me. That one wasn't me.
That was
Underrated, of course. Yeah, no, he's been having a little fun with me on Instagram about this. It's always been a struggle. You should go back and watch some really old stuff. It was atrocious. But it's something I've been working on from mobility standpoint. I was over 100 pounds bigger than I am currently just 2 years ago. So there's a lot of relearning my body going on. And part of that has been mobility focused. But we're getting there. Able to do it relatively well. My ability to get a good camera angle in my garage sucks. So a lot of the depth stuff is camera. Obviously I have my days where like I can't move to save my fucking life. There is a ton of stretching involved, by the way, to get anywhere close. So
stretching or warming up?
Both.
Okay.
Couch stretch in particular has been very, very important.
Pigeon stretch. Pigeon stretch is the one that does it for me, because I also squat pretty high. I'm going to jump in and say, like, so do I. I found that widening my stance and sticking to a lot of pigeon stretches, couch stretches, but also just never squatting and only doing push-pull. Really the key to this, I promise.
Yeah. Now, squat's my favorite lift, so I definitely want to get to a point where no matter what platform I'm on, no matter who the judges are, I could consistently hit 3 white lights. That's the goal. So, obviously with a training age of under 2 years, we're going to have some things that we need to work on. So, of course, squatting to depth is underrated. All
right.
Yeah.
So, all right. Overrated or underrated? Bucket hats.
Oh, underrated. Oh my God. A quintessential piece of the summer fat man attire is the bucket hat. The more ostentatious of a pattern, the better.
I remember
I
my
love
first bucket hat was from Coors Light. And they had put them in all of the Coors Light
beautiful.
packages, and they were everywhere. Just every kid had one, and the teachers were like, "You can't wear that. That has beer on it." And I was like, "Yeah, it was free and it's mine." All right, so that's actually
anything you could put on a Hawaiian shirt, you can put on a bucket hat, and it's
I
equally
can't
good.
believe you said that, because I was literally about to ask you, does it pair well with a Hawaiian shirt?
Absolutely.
That is fantastic. Overrated, underrated.
For the ignorant one here, what is a bucket hat? I'm trying to use context clues, and I think I know what it is, but I think I don't. So,
All right, so round hat has kind of a
It's a hat you wear on your head.
yeah,
There's no other answer. It's a hat you wear on your head.
typically linen or canvas, or it's cloth of some kind. Typically, doesn't have a hard brim like a ball cap does.
Mhm.
If you know, like
I can just Google, but yeah, I just didn't know. I was for a second, I was like, "Are they talking about the plastic hat with the beer on the side and the
Have you
straws?"
ever heard the song "Steal My Sunshine" by Len?
No.
Probably.
Okay, so maybe that was just a
Steal My
Canadian
Sunshine.
hit. Yeah.
Okay. So
that song is a bucket hat.
Gilligan's hat.
yes,
Yep. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. There we go.
Gilligan from Gilligan's Island.
Yep. I know what a Gilligan
Nailed it.
is now.
I should have started with that.
That makes more sense. Google
You
to the
should have
rescue.
started with the hat you wear on your head. That was the only.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It was kind of a soft tease.
I thought it was implied, but I forgot people can't always hear what's in my head.
All right. Overrated, underrated. Weddings.
Oh, overrated.
No, hell yeah. Hate weddings.
now-
Never again.
Now I say that with the caveat that we did the full shebang for my first marriage, and it was super fun. Don't have any notes about that. However, eloping's the way to go. Sorry. For everyone that has the dream of the big white wedding.
Don't do it.
Listen, if it's your dream, do it. But if you're wondering if it's just as good without all the pomp and circumstance, the answer is yes.
Agreed. I've been in roughly 12 to 14 wedding parties in the wedding party.
I've been in a lot of them, yeah.
I have been everything from ring bearer to groom. I have been to, including those, up to 20 weddings. And I will tell you from experience, they're all the same. They all suck. And 98% of them end in divorce. Don't waste your money. Don't waste your time. You don't need the stress. But that's my personal opinion. I will probably never attend another wedding again until it's my children. Unfortunately, that means a lot to my friends. Some of them are disappointed. Some of my family members are disappointed. But I said, look, man, it's just not worth it for me. Mm-hmm. You spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars putting on the suit, going in. Now I got to find a babysitter because I have kids now. I said, just don't invite me. Send me a card so I can send you some money and wish you well. But I'm not coming. And my wedding was a secret wedding in the backyard, surrounded by my family and a fire. And that was it. So I'm with you. I'm 100% with you on that.
We had the legally required 5 people in attendance. We had
correct.
One of my friends was the officiant. Her husband was my best man, and Steen's best friend was there as the maid of honor.
Yep. My parents and my kids.
Double as the legal witnesses that you need for signing the paperwork. So,
Keith, any insight?
I would say if you guys want the wedding, have the wedding.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
My biggest I feel when I got married, Jesus, in 2008. I feel that like I don't want to bash my wife's family, but like they had way too much say. Like the wedding ends up becoming for the family and not the husband and wife, and I roll my eyes at that whole concept. I mean, marriage is the most sacred thing to me in my world. I enjoyed my wedding, if you want to have a wedding, have a wedding.
End of the day, it's about you and your wife, though.
Yeah.
Not to bash divorce and second weddings, but the second weddings that I've gone to, my gift was significantly smaller. I'm assuming that's like a normal thing. Like if you go to a second wedding, like I don't feel that I need to give you $200-$300. You're getting like $50 or nothing. Like, like no, I mean, and that's just I don't know. I just people get divorced all the time. I get it, but like if I have to keep coming to your wedding, like you're getting less and less each time I come to your wedding.
Yeah.
I want to have more divorce parties. Like I want one divorce party. I'll go to your wedding, but then I want to go to the divorce party because nobody ever gets divorced when things are going well. It's not like, well, this has been going really great. I love you a lot, but like maybe let's end it. Like that never happens. Whereas weddings, sometimes people get married even when shit's not going great and they're going to divorce anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a personal thing. Great answer. Cause like, yes, I 100% agree. You want to get married, you want to do it, go have fun, invite all of the people that are just going to fight and make you feel guilty about their way they're sitting and complain about their food anyway. Do that. And I tell you, the 20 weddings I've been to, I have seen all of it.
I do have to say though, with the divorce thing, with all things said, if there is such thing as a good divorce, I did have one.
Nice.
I know they happen.
Friends with my ex-wife.
Yep.
We have a son together that we co-parent.
But it wasn't because
actually,
things
his
were going
birthday
well.
is tomorrow, and we are celebrating at the zoo on Saturday. I'm going to.
You guys are
the
going
zoo.
to the
You're
top
going to
shelf at the
Aberdeen?
zoo?
Wow, that's an expensive weekend.
No, not that zoo. Not the
We both
North
did that.
Carolina
That's
Zoo.
good call.
Well, happy birthday to your son.
Thank you. I will tell him as such. But like I'm gonna see all of my ex-in-laws too. So like we have a good rapport. If there is such thing as a good divorce, I had one.
And there's got to be
Yeah.
but like I don't think anybody gets divorced because things are going well.
No. And that things were definitely not going well in my marriage.
Right?
But
Like it's never everything's going great. We're financially set. We love each other.
it
I'm
took
just
work to
sick of
get
this
where we are
idea.
now. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just sick
For
of this
sure.
idea of marriage. Like nobody ever does that. All right. Overrated or underrated? This is not mine. Sporks.
You got to use your druthers on that because is a sport highly rated? Like if we play the game,
Dude, like, and that's
it's
the
like-
thing. I don't know that sporks are highly rated, but I do feel at the end I still have to say overrated, despite the fact that they may not be highly rated to begin with. And the reason for that is that they do they're obviously a fork and a spoon together, but they do both jobs kind of shittily and not better than each one does its job by itself. So
Correct. Despite
despite the fact that it's probably already not highly rated unless you were a avid fan of Taco Bell in the 90s, I still have to say overrated.
We don't have them up here.
I don't think I've ever. I mean, they're
Don't
a
have
thing, but
sporks or don't have
no.
Taco Bell.
I have lots of Taco Bells.
Okay.
But I don't think I've ever been
Man,
willfully
Yum
handed
Brands
the
is
sport.
lacking.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been willfully
it's
handed
like
the sport.
90% a spoon and just a little ridges.
got some edges.
at the-
Little shitty
Yeah.
tines on the end, yeah.
But they wouldn't
But they're
really.
wide.
They wouldn't be super effective.
Just give me
But I would-
chopsticks at that rate. Like you can eat anything better with chopsticks than you can eat with a fork.
I don't know. As someone who eats like a cold lunch out of a lunch pail every day, I have a Ziploc bag with like 10 forks and like 3 or 4 spoons, and it does suck when I use all my forks up and I have to eat my cold chicken with a spoon. That's a son of a bitch. But a spork there would be, considerably an improvement. But
But if
yeah,
you had
and-
chopsticks, that would be a non-concern because chopsticks can scoop and chopsticks can stab and chopsticks can pick
I've never had luck
in the
with
right hands,
scooping,
maybe,
though,
but
for
not
rice.
I.
Like I know that's a very common thing. I can't
with sticky
do it.
rice. You've got to use the sticky rice.
I
With just
do.
like
That's the
With the
thing.
crumbly rice, no, it doesn't work. You need a fork or a spoon for that stuff, right? But most foods
Washed
I've
medium
discovered-
grain, super sticky. Like it's the problem is that it's all in one container with my meal prep, and so
Yeah.
like the like stuff from my chicken or from my vegetables or beef or turkey or whatever the hell is in there gets on it, and it like it starts as sticky rice. It doesn't stay
Yeah.
as sticky.
It's I introduced an unbinding agent.
Yeah. I
All right.
have a couple sets of camping utensils that I pack in my work bag for meal prep.
Okay, well, that's interesting you bring that up because overrated or underrated meal prep.
Ah, man. I'm gonna have the druthers on this one probably.
Mhm.
We'll
Just
do them out.
and if anything, just to buy time to decide this. I think for like no, I think we'll just go flat underrated. We're just gonna say underrated. And the reason is even if you don't have concrete nutritional goals, even if you don't have targets you're trying to hit, you don't have a fitness goal or anything like that, it saves you so much goddamn money in the end, making meals in bulk. And just even if your version of meal prep is the leftovers method, where you just cook something and you use the leftovers as meal prep, there's less food waste, and it saves you time over eating out. It has things prepared, it's convenient. I gotta go with underrated. I thought I was gonna have to reconcile those two things, because obviously it's underrated for like if you're lifting and you have a busy life. Saves you a ton of time, saves you a lot of money. It's great for that. But I wasn't sure I was going to be able to reconcile those two. But no, it's just underrated.
All right. And then the last one, which is always, in my opinion, the most important, whether you pass or not, relies on this one. Overrated or underrated, this one comes from at least two separate people, which are not Steen. Okay?
Okay.
Lawry's seasoning salt.
So Lowry's seasoning salt is overrated because it has sunflower oil in it, which I'm allergic to.
Is that the only reason? Because I love Lowry's seasoning salt. Here's the thing.
Yes, that is actually the only reason, because I love Lowry's and I can't have it. Because
on your chicken wings, a little bit of butter, a little bit of Lowry's, a little bit of Tabasco, the best chicken wings you'll ever eat.
Chicken wings, pork chops, like ground, anything you're making with ground beef. It's delicious. I love it.
So do you have a
Obviously,
nut
I can't
allergy,
have it,
or is it a sunflower seed allergy?
Sunflower.
So
sunflower
sunflower
seeds,
seed is not a nut then.
Mm-hmm. Sunflower seeds, sunflower lecithin, and sunflower oil. Oil, depending on concentration and stuff, I can have oil without realizing it. Lecithin tends to have a little bit of gastric distress. Seeds will put me in the hospital.
That's
insane.
That's scary.
So if anyone in the crew wants to kill me, that's the way to do it.
I'll bring you a box.
I love sunflower seeds, and it's one of my summertime when I need salt things. I have a salt addiction, and I just need salt, and I'll go through those just nonstop. They're gross and messy, though. Also seen in Ace Ventura.
Yeah.
Also seen in Ace Ventura when he eats the sunflower seeds on the Miami Dolphins desk, played by Courtney Cox. I am going to bring a very young, and I'm going to bring this back now, thanks to Big Kevin, every week.
Well, he's probably got at least 25 movies that we should all at least have some. It's gonna be hard though, because like if you like deep dive into a movie to get like one thing, it's like I haven't watched a Jim Carrey movie in probably 10 years, so it's like I remember most of them.
3/4 of them is the problem.
I've absolutely memorized both Ace Venturas. Probably Dumb and Dumber. Even this Dumb and Dumberer, the sequel with the two kids, was kind of funny. They were better in Fired Up. So I don't know if you've ever seen Fired Up, the cheerleader movie. That's worth at least one watch. That was really funny.
That sounds funny.
The Mask, I think I saw a lot as a kid, but I don't think I'm as dedicated to memorizing it.
I know The Mask better than a lot of the other ones, probably.
Now you hit me with Arnold movies. I got you.
And then,
Jim Carrey, not so much.
But then, like The Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, when he decided
number
to become
23
a
also
actor. Yeah, that's Anyway, so I think you passed overrated, underrated.
Oh, terrific!
Except for your sunflower seed. thing makes me sad because
Yeah.
I love sunflower seeds.
Hey, I can be in the same room with them. I just can't, like, I try to avoid them.
So it's more a oral digestion than it is just like a like. 'Cause I work with a guy that's got a nut allergy. I've never been experienced that in my life. I can, if I eat a packet of nuts at lunch and I'm anywhere, if I'm like just talking to him 10 minutes later, he can tell and like starts like breaking out.
No, I'm not that sensitive.
Well, when I'm at work and I'm eating a protein bar, I ask everybody, are you or your children allergic to nuts? This has nuts in it. And if they say yes, I can't open it.
Right.
Because apparently nut allergy is just insane.
Yeah. They're very sensitive. I had some people that I knew in high school that were hypersensitive.
Crazy. What a weird world. I think it's time for Rich to ask us our questions.
All right. Well, your questions are going to be a game.
I think this might become my favorite segment too. Very,
very similar to y'all's game of underrated, overrated.
Y'all roll tide.
Roll tide.
This is a game of smash or pass.
Oh no! Man.
It is. It's not people. It's topics.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't do that to you.
I was like, I gotta use my druthers and put my marriage at risk here on smash or pass.
This isn't people. It's all topics. Again, you're allowed your druthers just like with overrated or underrated. But in the end, you must choose either smash or pass. Are y'all ready to play?
Let's do it.
All right. And both of you can give an answer to all of these. So smash or pass the state of West Virginia.
So it says my home state. It is. Oh wow. Like, I'm glad I don't live there anymore. There's a lot of just horrible, low caliber humans there. But all my family's there. The state's beautiful. It has its moments. So yeah, smash West Virginia.
Joey's dying.
Joey is like, I must have said something funny. I don't know. He's rolling over there. We really do got to figure out a way to like get this on YouTube someday because
I've never heard of it. I've never been. I have no answer. Is that where the Fresh Prince was from? West Virginia, born and raised.
That was West Philadelphia.
Sure?
But that's going to be a meme too. West Philadelphia versus West Virginia. Now, West Virginia, it's so New York, Pennsylvania, West Virginia. Like if you're going north to south, so it's like 2 states from me.
Okay,
and that's where I
like I know of West Virginia. No, I know of West Virginia, but I don't have an opinion of it. I've never been there, never heard of it. But I really enjoyed you saying I hate everybody from there. ... My family's.
My family's.
I think that's where you finally broke me. I had to mute my computer for a second.
Well, and according to John Denver, it's almost heaven. So,
well, that John Denver's full of shit.
I love the callbacks. Oh, I love them.
All right.
So I guess I'm gonna go pass.
All right.
You have to go
we
pass.
Got a smash and we got a.
I gotta.
All right. Our next topic: dad jokes.
Smash.
Yeah, I gotta go smash. Like some of them can be like, yeah.
Smash.
Categorical smash.
Even the worst ones are still funny because I have this theory that like everybody rags on dad jokes, but like dads just want to make you laugh. We want to make you laugh in a way that is clean sometimes, makes you roll your eyes, but like ultimately we just want to say something that makes everybody around us feel good for a second. And everybody rags on us for it, but like we're not punching up, we're not punching down. Sometimes we're mocking ourselves a little bit. So I love dad jokes. I think that they are the cleanest form of humor. I think they're the purest form of humor, but they're also the stupidest form of humor. And I'm in for that.
What's your ratio with it? So say like just mathematically, if you were to hear 5 dad jokes a week, how many are you laughing at? How many are you nose snorting at? Or nose breathing
at 100%.
With a dad joke?
At least a little bit of a chuckle.
With 100%. A dad joke, sometimes you're laughing at the fact that somebody told a dad joke.
Yes.
Sometimes the joke itself isn't funny, but thank you for taking the opportunity. That made me laugh.
I have one that I tell my sister on her birthday every year. And when I open with it, she knows that it's that joke, but it's become tradition. So I do it every year. It's Did you know that in Mexico they're big fans of mayonnaise? So much so that yeah, okay, thanks for interacting, Joey. We can continue. So much so that on the Titanic, they had 50 gallons, not 50 gallons, like 50 big drums of mayonnaise that were
Barrels.
destined for barrels. Thank you. That were destined for Mexico after they made their stop in New York. Of course, we all know that the Titanic did not survive its maiden voyage. It hit an iceberg and it sank. And the loss was so great for the Mexican people that they instituted a national day of mourning, which of course they titled Cinco de Mayo.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So my sister's birthday is May 5th. So
That's good. That's good. My favorite dad joke, I'll hit you with it. Okay. You ever look up and see geese flying in a V and one side has more geese than the other? Do you know why that is?
Because there's more
Because
geese,
there's more geese on that side. Like it's
Nice.
like it's such a dumb unjoke. And I told it wrong. It's supposed to be
so
why one
fantastic.
side's longer than the other because there's more geese on that side. But like,
Right.
that's really funny. There is one I was really proud of. My wife's dad is so good at them. And
My
he makes them up.
grandfather was
Like,
amazing at them.
Somebody will just say something and he'll just turf on that word.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny every time. Sometimes when I tell them and I think they're really funny, I will message him
Mm-hmm.
and go, remind me to tell you about this joke when I see you, because I thought it was so good. So shout out to John. He's really funny.
Love it.
So next, I think that was smash on both sides.
So next, smash or pass lifting belts for bench.
Who does
Match
that?
100%. I do. I won't bench over. And once I hit 205, like 80% or something, I put a belt on for
Pass.
sure.
Hard
Have
pass.
to.
I've never benched that much, so I don't know
Well,
what that's like.
Whatever, like the weights regardless, 80-ish%. Like
Mhm.
I usually I'll do my warm ups. Like, so for me, it's like once I get to one knee, because I do bar, quarter, plate, quarter,
Sure.
et cetera. Once I get to 210 or 205, I'll put my wrist straps on. 225, I'll put a belt on, and then after that, it's belt and wrist straps. I've had a significant lot of back cramping during bench. Like,
Okay.
I've hurt
Me
my
too.
back.
So
I've
it
hurt
helps
my
with
back,
cramping.
and absolutely. I've shit the bed at meets on almost several third attempt benches because of back cramps, and I'm sitting there with my trying to foam roll it out in between attempts or having someone put my massage gun on it. It's 100% smash.
I've heard it's a
Good to
thing.
know.
Somebody has asked me, why don't you? And then I was just like, I don't know. I've never heard of that. Now there are times, of course, when I get that weight up there and my abductors just absolutely cramp up. So if you ever watch, you'll never see it because I'm going to show you. But if you ever see me benching and I'm holding the bar in the bench position, but I'm wiggling my back, it's because my back is cramped in that position. So I've thought about wearing a belt, but also it sounds very uncomfortable.
So you're
I
not going
also-
to wear it as tight as you would on squat either, too. So if you have a
Well, but
leather,
I
you have
also
to
don't-
be careful.
I'm also not sold on wearing it for squats and deads anymore because I don't brace properly. So part of me thinks I could deadlift and squat without the belt, the weights I currently do. But that's just something I think I learned at the last meet where I slapped on that thing and I did that deadlift and then was like, I don't even recall wearing a belt doing it. So pass for me for now. Possible
right.
smash
Good
later.
to know. And it's good to know that that's why you belt. I've had trouble with back cramping benching myself, so maybe I'll have to give that a shot.
Suddenly
You
now
just
me and Rich are going to be wearing a belt.
Yeah.
Just play around with it. Keep it a little loose. I mean,
Mhm.
it might be a different position. It might be higher.
Mhm.
I found great benefit in it. But if you were someone that wears a super, super tight lever belt and won't adjust the tension on it between lifts,
Mhm.
that wouldn't.
Oh, I have a
wouldn't recommend
pal.
doing.
So
So you'd be going.
it's a lever, but I can adjust it. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a pal.
I'll squat on my tightest PAL section, and then I'll probably bench on the middle to the least. And then as far as what Joey said, deadlifting without a belt, I could pass on deadlifting with the belt for sure. I feel that's the least, at least in my current state, Like it's a struggle for me to get to the bar with a belt on right now because my belly's a little too big.
All right. Smash or pass jammer arms?
Pass 100%. They're stupid.
Is that lingo I don't know?
So you would like have them on the front end of your squat rack, and you would like basically just think of like half an upright on top of your regular upright with handles on it, and you would do like military press. You could turn around and row with them. You could, I think,
So they're not safety bars.
No.
They're a sad attempt at giving you versatility on a rack that you would get from isolation machines in a bodybuilding gym.
Yeah.
Pass, because I've never heard of them before.
Slightly biased.
Articulate like that.
Yeah, if they were safety arms, I'd be like, I'm in, because I almost died doing bench once. But jammer arms, never heard of it. Don't know what you're talking about. Is it a hat you wear in your head? Don't know. Pass.
Gilligan's hat.
Yeah, so if it is a hat you're wearing on your head, something went horribly wrong. In the same vein, smash or pass landmines?
Pass. I had one. I owned it for like 5 years, and I think I used it twice, and then I sold it during the pandemic for probably what I paid for it. So,
Brothers, I have one. I have every intention of enjoying it and using it, but I don't have the mobility in my gym to do so.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do Viking press. I want to do T-bar rows. I want to do those things. I just don't have the current movement of placing the bar around and moving it around. So I keep it for that reason. I do have an attachment which would allow me to do most of those, especially the one-armed kneeling Viking press. Like you can't mess with those. It hurts your back and hurts your like it does seem fun. So I'm gonna say smash for now.
Okay.
But when I have room in the gym and never use it, I'll change that to smash or to pass.
Dope.
You're smashing on potential.
I usually have. You can ask a lot of people in my life. Next.
I'm glad you made that joke because I passed on it.
Next.
All right.
Well, you did go to a lot of weddings as a single man, probably at one point.
Yeah. Smash or pass kettlebells?
Pass.
Smash. That's tough. Like I used to use a lot of kettlebell work. I would still, I'd smash a kettlebell. Like currently, I use it significantly less than I did like 10 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever. But I see them to be very beneficial. I mean, yeah, if you were on a deserted island, you could have like one thing. A kettlebell wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to have, I guess. So, yeah, I'd smash a kettlebell.
I'm going to pass. I have quite a few. I have 15, 25, 40 pound, and a 35 pound. The 35 pound is a hammer. It's shaped like Thor's hammer, so it is not good for anything other than.
But it's Thor's hammer. I mean,
it's goblet squats and snatches. That's all you're doing with it. I have some success with kettlebells as far as the utilization and tossing them around, but I don't ever need to do it again. Now, I respect the people that do. I have friends in kettlebell sport. I follow a lot of people, and if you're like at home and your space is limited and you're just like, man, I just want to move a little bit, I don't know what to do, I want to do some resistance, I'll tell you to get a kettlebell any day of the week. Go get a 15 or 25 pound kettlebell and just start moving it. And I don't care if that's just swinging it with one arm. That's the one thing that I would tell people, that if you can't do anything, do that. For me though, not the weights I would need to use to create resistance with a kettlebell. Yeah. I've got to jump up to the 40 pound kettlebell. But then what are you doing? You're not tossing it around. You're not doing proper snatches. You're not doing any of that stuff. So just, nah.
I am, but okay.
Well, keep doing it. You asked me.
Rich, you've given us a lot of sets and reps talk, a lot of serious talk. Do you want to? Do you have something funny to kind of round out and be the last one for this evening, or even if it's off the top of your head? Like I feel like with our podcast, we should end with something a little more.
No. We're
jokey.
We're
you
getting.
got
We've got a couple. Yeah. So the next one is funny. Fitness YouTube.
Will be in general. Oh wow, because like there's a lot of garbage out there. Like so, like out of the ones that I follow, 100% smash. If I was to take like the statistic of how many good ones are out there, it'd have to be pass, because there's a lot of people that think they're content creators that are just glorified personal trainers that, like, you know, I don't know, like there's a that's a tough one, I guess.
That's an awful lot. It sounds really close to
Jesus,
the line there, Keith.
you. What was how was it worded again?
I'll give you your druthers here, Keith, and I'll tell you, I have no clue what you're talking about. Never watched any of them. If it's not Celtic Warrior workouts, I've never watched a single YouTube fitness thing in my life, which is also running with the joke that I have no clue who anybody is, and that's why.
I was literally just watching Adrian and Brandon earlier today. That's why this made the list. Was they mentioned you in Brandon's video?
Yeah, they did.
So this had to make the list.
So yeah, I consume a shit ton of more like home gym ish fitnessy stuff, more than like I don't necessarily watch a lot of YouTube videos of someone to tell me how to work out. Like I don't necessarily need that or want that at this point. To me, it's more I'm enamored by $80,000 home gym. Show me more of that. So yeah, smash, I guess, but only if it's the cabinet. Yeah, it's just smash.
So conspicuous consumption YouTube you're into.
Money laundering YouTube. Got it.
Yeah. Yeah. If it's not Body Break, I'm not watching it. I think we've already established that.
Call back from
our last smash or pass topic.
All right.
Okay.
Smash or pass 9-foot ceilings.
That'd be so awesome. I would smash that in a heartbeat. I would. Oh fuck! Oh, you set me up, fucker. Oh, whatever. Yeah.
I was waiting. I was just like, I'm not saying nothing. You
got me on squats. I had to get you on the base.
That's true. I'm at like, I think I'm just I'm like a 7-ish feet, like 7 and 7 foot 1 inch or something like that. So yeah, I would kill for a 9-foot ceiling, even if it. But yeah, not if it came to the extent of having a garage that sloped at a 15-degree angle and I had to like shim everything up or put stuff certain ways to accommodate the drainage.
I'm going to say pass because I am only like 5'4". So who the fuck needs that?
Fair enough.
Just stack 25s so that the bar doesn't hit the ceiling. Like it's easy.
Well, the good news is you guys passed smash or pass. You were successful.
We nailed it.
So lastly, I need to leave you with a good old fuck, marry, kill.
All right, FMK.
And of course, this is going to be fuck, marry, kill, squat, bench, deadlift.
Interestingly, Steen asked me to ask you this, and I removed it.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah, so that's fun. No, let's go. Let's bring it on around down.
So I'm gonna F bench, marry squat, kill deadlift. I'm pretty sure we actually played this in the pilot, but I can't remember. I thought we did, but maybe it was. Yeah, I'm curious if my answer changed.
I listened, but I don't remember.
I'm gonna fuck then marry deadlifts.
Okay,
and then kill bench and squat. If I never had to do those again, it would be fine. But I'm a deadlifter through and through. I am the meme.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Like I've got the over 400-pound deadlift, but can't bench my body weight for reps. I can, but like the joke is.
Do you have a long wingspan? Like, are you like set? Like, do you have like a
have you seen him deadlift? Yes.
No, I understand. I get that Joey's best lift is a deadlift. I'm not saying that.
He's like the Slender Man. He's got like 9-foot arms or something.
Because you did mention. Well, a lot of his videos are like I don't know. It's like from the back. Well, no, there was the one that
deadlifts are only from the front when I film.
Is it? Okay, yeah. I guess I'm not paying attention to where your bar locks out at, but you did mention that it's closer to your tattoo, which is like lower quad. So you're locking out that pretty low then.
Yeah, I'm locking out just above my knees.
Yeah, I think I'm like
must be nice.
I think I'm like mid quad. I'm definitely not like dick region. People that are arms are so short. Like when you like see the videos of like the bar literally like goes over their penis, like that's crazy. Like that's so much more range of motion.
Yeah, so no, my lockout is up near my dick. That's how the dick jokes happen. Yeah. But the scraping happens on the thighs.
I gotcha.
Right? That's where the scraping happens, is right above the knees.
My arms are short enough that I can't Jefferson. I've tried.
Not with that attitude. Get some figure eights.
Yeah, do some more stretching.
Why, is it going to like hang under my arms or like...
So Jefferson off blocks if you have to, just for the sake of Jefferson, like for a video, for like, because
the problem isn't getting it off the ground. The problem is lockout. I can't lock it out.
Huh. That harkens back to earlier when I mentioned that I thought I saw something in the Discord that might have alluded to an upcoming something or other. One of the hosts did comment on the Jefferson shirt, and it might have just been that it might be coming back in stock, but I think it might have been more that there might be a Jefferson deadlift contest or something coming back, possibly, because the one of the hosts with the beard that is sometimes a record guy definitely hinted at something about the Jefferson shirt, or Jefferson in general. So that might be something to keep an eye out on. But yeah, that's crazy. You can't lock out a Jefferson. I'd have to I'm trying to logically think of what I would need, what impediment. It's just that your arms are kind of a little too short-ish.
I have a really long torso.
Okay.
I remember the second time I Jeffersoned, and it was over 3 plates. And I was utterly shocked at how much pec work a Jefferson deadlift takes. I was not prepared for how sore and awful my chest was for 2 days after doing a Jefferson. Because you're like, yeah, I can deadlift 4 plates. I should be able to Jefferson 3. And the answer is no, you fucking cannot. It hurts so much in different muscles and regions that you're like, this isn't supposed to hurt there, but yeah, maybe I'm in for a Jefferson deadlift competition. I tagged Massonomics speaking of kettlebells, hey, call back, in a Jefferson deadlift kettlebell video. Where these people were doing straddle deadlifts with kettlebells and calling them Jeffersons. And I just tagged Massonomics and said, the hell did I just watch? Because what the hell did I just watch? These are not Jefferson deadlifts. There's no barbell involved. But if you gotta, right?
That's how Spoon will have to get his first Jefferson is off some of his kettlebells then.
Yeah, I guess. It'll only be 140 pounds because the biggest pair I have is 70s.
I think I've Jefferson 315, and it was not easy at all. And I think that was after.
I think 365 is what I did, and it just fucking sucks. I don't want to do it again. Don't to the hosts. Don't make me do it again. That hurts so much.
if that does come up, I just hope it's not during prep, because I'm not trying to throw in an odd lift during meet prep.
Right.
I am. Apparently. Well, guys, that was
what strongman is. All strongman is weird lifts.
Yeah. Yeah, Zerker. Do a Zerker squat. The hell? Why not?
Yeah, why not?
But why not? It doesn't make any personal sense unless you're a personal support worker. It doesn't make any logistical sense. But just do it. Just throw the weight in your arms and go.
Well, every exercise is a lower back exercise if you do it wrong enough. So
And I do. That was a good podcast, guys. You want to bring this on home? I just want to remind everybody that this is the Unpaid and Underrated. You can find our website at unpaidinternpodcast.com. You can follow us on Instagram at Unpaid and Underrated Podcast. Guys, we didn't get to Big Matt again. Sorry, Big Matt. Mostly squat videos. We really wanted to get to you again this week. We'll give you a call. I promise it's coming up. But next week, stay by that phone. We're going to get to you there.
We knew he was rebuilding that Kohler toilet that he really loves working on every couple of years. So he was at Home Depot doing that. So once we saw that, we just decided we couldn't have him on this week.
He is a Home Depot man. I am Big Joey. You can find me at Joey_Malesko, MLECZKO. Where can we find you guys?
I am Big Keith. You can find me on Instagram at KeithHoneycutt73. Follow my gym at The No Wine Cellar.
And you can find me on Instagram as well. It's _Spoonerman. And yeah, I mostly just do training shit, but every now and again there's a meme or life stuff. So
I want to give a big shout out, of course, this week to Big Steen for helping us out with making Big Rich laugh. I want to give a shout out to Rich's son, is it? Happy birthday tomorrow. My own son, whose birthday is on Saturday. Happy birthday to him. And of course, please follow us on Instagram and hopefully see you next week. Keith?
All right, boys. We'll see you next Tuesday.